Hello lovely Olympians and welcome to my TBR for the 2022 GreekGodAthon. As you probably know, I'm Esmay from Paradise of Pages on Instagram and also on Twitter, and welcome to this TBR video. I have a very beautiful armband and I'm wearing my crown once again because today it is time for me to film my TBR. Let me quickly, I actually can't take off my glasses because I can't wear my contacts today, but let me show you the gold we have tried to do today. And I'm gonna put my glasses back on so that I can actually see what I am doing. Sorry about a little bit of the glare, but today I am doing my TBR. T-shirt is also very ready. So yeah, crown is on, we're wearing the gold bangle, the crown, and let's just get into my TBR. So as you probably know, I am the team leader for Team Zeus. I have put up this entire fight, and in the month of March we will start fighting. We are nearing March as we speak. We're getting very close to March, and quite honestly, I can't wait. I can't wait to get started completely. Is it nicer if I do it like this? I don't know. Anyway, I thought I would share with you my TBR, how I went about the point system and the perk. I of course have my own perk, and I actually made a little, I'm not sure if you can see that, but I made, you can't see that. Let me turn down the brightness a little bit. It's like an Excel thing. You can't really see it, but I made a little graph for myself to make sure that I have all the prompts in the right places. My perk is a little bit easier than some others because it's basically to have one wild card, but I will go through them and which points I will have, that kind of thing. Also, I have gotten a couple of questions about the points and once you finish the readathon, so I'll also get back into that at the end of this video. So without further ado, let's just get into it. I do want to add that I will be doubling up at some points because it's 14 books and I want to actually be able to finish all of them. If I were to pick 14 books, I'm not so sure I would be able to finish all of them. So a little bit of doubling up, but we'll go over every single god. So the first god and the first prompt is of course my own prompt, which is lightning quick to read a cover by book. For this prompt, that will be my 10-point slot, and the book I've put on here is actually a book that I have to read this month anyway, and that is Raybearer by Jordan E. Fueko. I've been meaning to pick this book up for a very long time because of how beautiful it is. It has this beautiful gold foiling around the edges. It's very naturey. And this is also my book of the month for the Enchanted book club. So I put this in my spot. If I finish this book and I finish the Zeus prompt, that means that this book will award me 10 points. So that is the first book. So this basically follows a girl who is sent to the Crown Prince to be part of his, I think his closest advisors, counselors, but she has been raised by someone called the Lady and she's been cursed to do whatever this lady wants, and this lady basically wants her to kill the Crown Prince. So it's a very intriguing story. I love the, what are they called? Basically the illustrations for every single new chapter. They're absolutely stunning. And so this is my first book. Moving on, I will of course be starting with my own team prompts, and the first one for that is Aphrodite. Aphrodite is a romance book, and so I have decided to be reading Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This is going to be my first Colleen Hoover book, and I've actually never read, I mean that's the entire thing of me saying that it's the first time reading an author, meaning that it is my first book. So this is my first Colleen Hoover book. From what I know, from what I've seen on Book Talk and on Book Twitter, that this book is something about a pilot, I think. I don't know that much, but something with flying, and I have a feeling it's gonna be quite sad. So I'm not excited for that. I will be filming my entire experience with this book because I want to see if I can document it and make a nice reading vlog about this. So yeah, I'm really excited to pick this up. I feel like this will probably be a bit of a quicker read for me because romance tends to be quicker for me, but I'm just really excited to be getting into this one. That book, by the way, will be 5 points. So every single book up until I get into the control prompts, which I will mention, will be 5 points. So the next one on my team is going to be Aries. And Aries is war on words, meaning that you have to read a book with war. I am not sure if it's going to be this book or its sequel. That's probably difficult point to make, but it's due to the fact that I'm not sure if I will finish this book in February or not, and that is Jade City by Fonda Lee. I have the idea that I won't be finishing this, I haven't even started it, in February, so I will read it in March. If I do, I'll pick up the sequel. From what I've heard, there is war in this one. At least there's I think it has to do with the drugs and the fact that Jade has been traded, and I think people are fighting over it, so that, at least to me, screams war. So that is going to be my Aries book. Then next up we have Artemis, which is The Hunt, and that is to read an anticipated book. This can be a book that you have anticipated, like it's an anticipated release for you, or a book that is just in general anticipated a lot. I went for a book that everyone seems to be talking about and something that I feel like I will absolutely love, hence why it's an anticipated book. The lights just went out. What did you do? Oh, I'm sitting here in the dark. We're actually doing some stuff on the kitchen downstairs, and I'm guessing my dad had to take off the electricity. But I didn't know. You know what? We're just gonna forge ahead. It's fine. Alright, so where was I? An anticipated book. Yeah. This is a book that I've seen on TikTok a lot, and I've bought due to the fact that I'm getting into romance and really want to read more fantasy romance. And so I picked this book up, and ever since I've been really, really excited to read it. And that is The Bridge Kingdom by Daniel L. Jensen. The only thing I know about this is that it's supposedly a smutty fantasy book. And I think it has to do with royalty as well. Other than that, I know nothing. I literally know nothing. To speak with faulty towers, I'm Manuel, I'm from Barcelona, and I know nothing. That's basically me. Also, once again, very beautiful chapter headers. But I don't know that much about this book at all, and I'm just very, very excited to get into it. Also not that big, so I feel like I can easily read it in March, and I'm just generally really, really excited for it. Is it just me, or does it feel really weird not having lights in the back? It feels strange, like half of my life is missing. I definitely prefer my shelves with lights, but you're gonna have to bear with me on this one. Alright, moving on, we are gonna go to Hades, and Hades is Dead as a Doornail, and that means that you have to read a book with something undead. For me, I think at least I went with vampires, and I mean, from what I've seen on Goodreads, there are vampires in here. If not, just tell me that there's any type of immortal being in here and I'm fine, because this book is big enough as it is and I don't want to switch it out. But this book is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is huge. From what I've heard, there are vampires in this one. Again, I'm not completely positive about that fact, but I didn't want to foil myself to go into more detail about certain reviews. So if this doesn't have any type of immortal being, vampire, werewolf, any type of undead, I suppose let me know. In any case, it is huge. I am quite excited because I've heard good things, and again, there's a theme here of me reading romancy books. Then we are getting to Hephaestus, and Hephaestus is, as I already previously mentioned, forge ahead, meaning that you have to read a sequel. For this one, I feel like it is a sequel because it's technically speaking the second in a series, but it's following different characters. But the book I'm going to be reading is All the Feels. This is the sequel to, spoiler alert, and we are actually following two of the side characters of the first book. So in the first book we follow April and Marcus, who do their entire romance thing, and then I think in the second one we are following Marcus's colleague and his personal assistant Lauren, I think. I'm not completely sure about the names, but I really enjoyed the writing style of book one, and I just really enjoyed book one, and so I really wanted to continue with the second book, hence why I will be reading All the Feels, I think by Olivia Dade, but I might be wrong on that account. I'm just really excited to get into the second book here and also see a little bit more of Marcus and April in this one. So lastly, for my team, we have Poseidon, and Poseidon is Endless Ocean, and I am not good with watery stories, so I'm gonna use my perk here. So I'm gonna zap away this prompt, and I'm basically gonna go for a wild card. Technically speaking, I'm gonna come up with a prompt. I would say I'm gonna go for a romance book again, because I really want to read this book. The book I'm gonna be reading is The Roommate, or at least I think I will. This is basically about a girl whose roommate has an interesting career path, I think, and she has to sort of figure out a way to deal with that. I don't know too much about it, but I've heard amazing things about it, and I really want to read more romance books, so I'm going to be incorporating them into my TBR, because I do want to also read quite a bit on my e-reader, because it's really something that's been helping me a lot. I've been reading so much in January and February already due to that thing, because every single time I go to bed, I put away my phone and I just grab my e-reader and read, because it's way easier to hold and handle. It has backlighting. It's just a lot easier. So for that one, I'm going to be reading The Roommate. Okay, so that basically gets us onto the 7 prompts for team control. And where I can, I will be doubling up with the books I already have. So I'm going to go through these a little bit quicker. So all of the books I will mention now will gain me 3 points. Meaning that if it's a book I've doubled up, I will get to that as we go. I will then get the points for the regular team chaos, or the fact that it's my own book, so either 10 or 5 points, and then plus the 3 points that I will get for completing the prompt of sort of that fact. That said, let's just go on to the first one, and the first one is Apollo, and Apollo is Let the Sun Shine, to read a book that makes you happy. For this one, I've decided to also read All the Feels, because I think, considering I love the first one and it gave me all the happy vibes, I think the second one will do the same thing. So I think it's fair to say that this will let the sun shine in my heart. And so I chose that one for Apollo. And that means that this book will now get me 8 points. So 5 plus 3. So next up we have Athena, and Athena is Use Your Head. And that is to read a book you intended to read in 2022. I have quite honestly not looked at my list. I have a list of 22 books I want to read in 2020. Please tell me that this is on here. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check if this is actually on here. And of course it's not. I choose the one book that is not on my list. It's fine. It's fine. I've intended to read this year anyway, so I'm gonna go for it. And that is actually from Blood and Ash. I've been meaning to read this for a long time, and so I thought it would be perfect to put it in Athena's spot. This will also gain me 8 points in that aspect or respect, and I'm just in general very excited to read it. I can't believe I'm that much of an idiot that I didn't check my list before picking a book for the Enchanted. Look, I have 22 books to read this year and I don't... Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Let's move on. So next up we have Demeter, and Demeter is Bountiful Harvest, which is to read a book that has nature. And for that, I'm obviously gonna go for Raybearer. I mean, there's beautiful nature on the cover. I mean, there's a lion on the front and a lioness. I think that's what you can call them in English. I'm just really excited for this book, so I'm gonna also put that in that spot. This is my 10-point book, so this will gain me 13 points opposed to the 8 that the other ones will. Then next up, it is time for Dionysus, and that is Sinful Ecstasy, and that is to read a guilty pleasure book. I have the idea that The Roommate will definitely be one of those guilty pleasure books from what I've heard, so I'm gonna put that in that spot. Quite honestly, there's a couple that could probably fit in here, but I'm gonna go for The Roommate. So next up we have Hera, and Hera is I Am Woman. So that is a book with a strong female protagonist. From what I've heard, our main protagonist, I think her name is Lara, that gives me Lara Croft vibes, is a really strong protagonist. So I'm really excited to read this, as I already mentioned, and I'm going to put this in Hera's spot as well, giving me 8 points. Then second to last we have Hermes, which is The Flying Messenger, and for this one I actually have to read a short book. Fun fact, I think romance books are short reads for me. It's not necessarily the shortest book on here probably, but I really want to read this book, and this is the only book I'm going to add, and that is The Charm Offense. So this is basically some type of The Bachelor, but our bachelor is actually probably more interested in the guy that does all of the basically he makes sure that everything runs smoothly, and I think we follow the perspective of the guy who is part of the production team, and he is in close contact with this bachelor, and he has to make sure that the bachelor is comfortable enough to talk to all of these women. And I'm just really excited. I feel like this will probably be a very short read for me, or a quick read, so I put this in Hermes' spot. Then last but certainly not least we have Hestia, and for Hestia we have Hearthwarming or Heartwarming, and for this one I'm also going to go into The Charm Offense. I think that this will be such a heartwarming story, and I'm in general a fan of The Bachelor. I don't know what it is, it's just my cold dead heart beats a little bit, I suppose. I am not necessarily a hopeless romantic, but I do enjoy a good romance story, so I'm really excited for that one. So those are all of the 14 prompts filled for me. These are not necessarily set in stone. I will attempt to read all of these, but yeah, I'm not completely sure if I will read all of these, especially with Jade City, because I'm not sure if I'll be in the mood for it. So I might just read a different book that has a war in it, or I mean, we'll see. So that's it. Something I do want to mention is that the Charm Offense will be 6 points for me, because it's filling 2 prompts from Team Control. So that's the only thing that's a little bit different from all of the other books I have on this list. And that is actually my point system. If you have any questions about how the points work, then let me know. I would be happy to sit down with you and make sure that you have your TBR set and all of the points clear in your head. Also, again, if there's ever anything that you're debating about during the readathon as well, just shoot me a message and I will help you where I can. Speaking of, I've gotten the question, what do we do if we finish all of the prompts? So say you finish all 14 of the prompts, whether you've doubled, tripled up is fine, that's all up to you. Say you finished all 14 of the prompts. Am I allowed to continue, and am I allowed to fight, so to say? Of course you are. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can fill all of these 14 prompts for most of the part. I have set this TBR, and then once we go after that, so once I've finished all of them once, I will go back into the prompts, and then all of the prompts will be 5 points. I have decided that you are allowed to double up, but not triple up. You're not allowed to use any of your abilities. Basically what it means is that you can, basically one book can get you 10 points after you finished the original 14. This is probably not for all of us. I think only a handful of people will get to this point, but if you are wondering, that is what we do once we finish and you do really want to continue. If you have questions once you finish the 14 original prompts, just get back to me. It's totally fine. And that is it. I think there were no more questions from what I've heard, maybe a couple about how certain things will fall and sit, but I think it's easier to just message me personally so I can talk to you about how that would work in your TBR. I'm in general just super excited to be getting into this and to be getting into this readathon. There will be some reading sprints and fun stuff all around, so really excited. I am sad that we have to finish this video off without lights though. Before we actually go out, I thought I would show you the books I have here. So this is a total of, let me see, 5. Yes, so we have From Blood and Ash, Raybearer, Ugly Love, The Bridge Kingdom, Jade City. Then I have All the Feels, The Roommate, and The Charm Offense. I think those are all of my books. I think I've gotten 8. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, those are my 8 books. I hope to be finishing all of them. I am just in general so excited to start reading with all of you. And also, if you haven't already, make sure that you pledge allegiance. if you are seeing this late, so say it's already March by the time that you see this, you can of course still join and pledge allegiance, preferably to Team Zeus, but you can of course pledge allegiance to whichever god you want. I mean, it's the entire month of March, so there's more than enough time to join and to read. I mean, even if you only read one book, it's not as if you failed the readathon. It's just all about fun. So I want to thank you all so much for watching and for your enthusiasm, because at this point, let me see, it is currently February 22nd and it's 3:30. Let me quickly check how many people have signed up on the spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet on my phone that updates automatically. At this point, there are 175 people who've signed up to join this fight. 175. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm curious if we can still get to the 200 mark before March hits, but we'll see. You're always welcome to join. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I want to thank you all so much for your enthusiasm. I want to thank you all so much for watching as well. Please subscribe to our channel and press that little bell icon so you can post notifications every single time that we post, and also for all of the live shows that are to come. And I hope to see you all in the next one, and have fun making your TBRs and joining GreekGodAthon.